We are back with another Cats and Rats post-game show. I'm your host, Kirby Lupo, joined alongside my co-host, Nick Levine. Cody Stevens is busy with that football game. Saw it was 0-0 or something like that, Nick.
I'm sure it won't be soon if it is still that.
There was more points, more goals in this game. What's Evan Klosky, the clown, and some of these Tampa Bay media people thinking right after this one, Nick?
Well, I have an update. It's 21-3 Steelers, Kirby. So I'm sure we'll be joined by Cody shortly.
Okay. We really need that to bring down everything tonight. We don't want anything down. And everyone's here that's not into football or, locked into this game here tonight. This was a big game here, Nick. And again, you come out early on and you establish your presence. And I think the Panthers have done a good job of this on this road trip here. And this was a big win road trip here. You go into Utah, you did there. Dallas there the other night. Tonight here against Tampa. Like we said, that Colorado game I felt was an auto loss. You're going to go out there, you're going to do your best on a back-to-back. The Panthers are right back in this.
Yeah, 3 points out of the number one spot in the division here. And I think it's just kind of been a return to our game in a sense. I didn't love our first period. I think we both agree with that. First pair, I saw some of the same issues early on, particularly with the turnovers. I think Tampa Bay's forecheck was actually pretty effective tonight, even throughout the course of the game. I think our forwards did a decent job at supporting and getting back there and, kind of disrupting plays. But there were a lot of times we weren't able to clear the zone or wasn't a clear breakout pass or, those turnovers lead to one thing or another. But I think really kind of from the get-go, something we've been talking about here on this road trip and kind of for years here is the penalty kill. I mean, it just continues to pretty much dominate. I mean, 25 of its last 26, I believe, is the penalty kill over the last number of games. And I mean, you talk about it, it's not even just momentum killer for Tampa Bay. It's a big momentum boost for us. And, you're able to get offensive scoring chances. We were talking about it after the first intermission, Kirby. Like the scoring pace that Reinhardt is on a freaking shorthanded is just.
There's some people in the community, maybe some people listening here today, maybe they can say some things on Reinhardt, huh?
Well, yeah, I don't know if they want to, but it started with, I think the penalty kill was insanely good tonight. In the first period, the first pair, and some of the defensive miscues, even throughout the second and third pair, was kind of covered up by Sergei Bobrovsky. He was sharp tonight. We got bailed out by Bob a couple times, kind of found our game a little bit, was able to get 2 quick goals, and then it was kind of off from there. I don't think this was as clinical as the Dallas game. I want to frame it that way. But I do think in the second period, that's how we need to play. It was a very tight checking game in that second period where Tampa Bay, you could see their speed and the talent they have on the ice really kind of getting through the neutral zone. But there were a lot of times they got through the neutral zone and nothing really came of it. It was a lot of one and done and stuff like that. So I think it's really an important step for us. And when you consider all the things this season to come into this road trip, and if you were going to tell me we were going to be 3-1, I think any of us would have taken that. I mean, we would have been okay with 1-2-1. I feel like that a lot of people would have been like, okay, that's solid. 2-2, we were very happy with. 3-1. I think a lot of us had this out of the question, but I think it was kind of just a return to our game in certain facets. Obviously, it doesn't look the same with the roster being what it is, but it's Sergei Bobrovsky really standing tall here in the first period, us kind of finding our game and taking advantage, being opportunistic on Jonas Johansson tonight. And that second period was kind of continue the opportunistic chances we've had. But also, I really think we kind of controlled the pace of play. And then the third period, I mean, after that goal there, which, by the way, I think Boakfus got benched after that. I believe there was a turnover that led to his goal.
Well, that was the turning point, Nick. And let's before we go to that too, we'll get into the game a little bit more. I just want to jump in and I want to thank Jack the other night, donating 20 memberships to everyone. So if you come in here and you're green and you're like, what the heck, how am I a member? Jack donated 20 subscriptions the other night. So if you were in the chat, you have to make sure you have to go to your settings and you have to make sure you can allow gifts when you go to not just our channel, but other channels. That's how you can be accepted to get free memberships. I have in the past as well. It's just a totally random thing. But if you were in the chat the other night and were gifted, give a shout out to Jack when he's here. I don't know if Jack's here tonight. But yeah.
And shout out Joe Dokes.
Oh, thank you, Joe. And Joe's going to lead into my other thing here. What is Joe saying here?
Like, subscribe, comment after 333. We really appreciate the
There you go.
donation.
At the end there, I thought that said NR therapist hours,
Well,
which we've had to do, right? So before we do go more into the game, I just want to give a shout and appreciate that so much, Joe. Just again here for everyone, if you want to subscribe to our channel, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. Like this video. You can like it when we're live. Just click off of it. It takes 1-2 seconds. We appreciate that for the algorithms. Comment on this video, especially you people that are listening to this on the replay in the morning. We love to hear your comments the next day. Super chat donation, just like Joe did there. You can do it anytime you're live. We appreciate that. You can buy your own membership. We have the gold, silver, and bronze. You can upgrade your membership, which is very important, as we'll tell you later with our Matthew Tkachuk giveaway. That'll be for gold and silver members. And you can gift memberships like Jack did. You don't have to do as many as Jack did, but the other night he did 10 times 2 for 20, and we really appreciate that, Jack. Access to great perks here. I want to give a shout out to our guy, Michael Wallace. He gave tickets away for the LA Kings game to a member in our community. So club level seats. So community members gifting to other community members. It's really nice.
Appreciate the generosity being self-run, and it's not possible without you guys. So we really do appreciate it, and we mean that from everybody, not just me and Kirby, but Cody, Caesar. I know speak for all of us here. So thank you so much.
But sorry to interrupt there, Nick. Let's go back to the third. And I think the game changer was, where I don't know why we challenged that call. We can get into that a little bit. And then I think that changes the momentum of the game, because now Tampa, they get new life in the game, down a couple, maybe bring it to 1, go on the power play, even though their power play didn't look good. And that Carter Verhaeghe goal ended all momentum that Tampa had.
A theory for why we challenge that is that Maurice feels confident enough in our penalty kill. So, I mean, that's definitely a possibility there. And that's part of the reason we was talking about last stream. Kind of rather have a really good penalty kill than a really good power play, right? And I thought the power play had some good looks tonight, some zone time. I mean, Reinhart cross seam pass to Seth Jones, an opportunity there. Reinhart and Verhaeghe kind of at that net front, the net mount scramble there. Bennett in the slot. You had Verhaeghe walking in, taking a shot. So there were opportunities and puck movement on the power play. I didn't want to touch on that. But really, when it all comes down to it, is after that second goal, we killed off the penalty. I really like how we kind of handled that second and third period. It was kind of keep it to the outside, play. It was a very simple game. It wasn't trying to do too much. A lot of dumping and chasing, and probably our puck retrieval rate, I don't assume, was too good tonight based off the eye test. But
the metrics really heavily favored Tampa after the first. But what about Bob?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like those 2 quick goals at the beginning of the game kind of change how you go about the game.
Yeah, fans are probably like, we've got this game in control. Not if you look at the metrics, and not if you look at what Bob had to do there.
Right. I think Bob stood tall. We were opportunistic. And then in the situational parts of the game, we were excellent. And that's really what the story of the game. It wasn't a clinical 60-minute effort. It was, we got 2 quick goals. Great. Yeah. Our penalty kill was elite. Bob was elite. And then after
there's 17 block shots, just to jump in, Nick. I think Tampa only had 3 tonight.
And that's another key point, is we're not having the puck as much, obviously, right? But you kind of start to see, I wonder how those numbers have changed over the course of the season based off, because we're a shot suppression team. We usually don't end up blocking a lot of shots. We're allowing a lot more shots from the point. Bobrovsky struggled with that this year. So I wonder if there's a bit more of a buy-in there right now with it. But I'd categorize the game in 3 ways. 1, we were very good on the penalty kill, and we were opportunistic in our chances that we got. We scored on them. Sergei Bobrovsky was elite, and then as the game went on and the situation demanded it, we were good. We were really solid. Take a look at that second period through the neutral zone, able to get a couple quick insurance goals there after really keeping Tampa pretty much to nothing. We had some really good power play opportunities. That third period after the Tampa goal, there were a couple chances where, puck bounced to the middle, quick shot on net for Tampa. But I think we really did a good job of, when they came through the neutral zone into the offensive zone, there wasn't anything really there for Tampa. Maybe a quick shot here, and it was right out. It was pucks in, pucks out, pucks in, pucks out. And that might be a little difficult. You want to really think about it. It's reminiscent of Game 7 against Edmonton, how we kind of went about it tonight. And I guess that adjustment into how we're going to look different over the course of the season without Alexander Barkov. I don't think it was a dominant effort, but I think it was a really strong situational effort. And, that's just the type of game veteran teams win. Get a great night from your goaltender and whatever else is demanded of you throughout the game. we stood tall to the task. But I also think, like I mentioned, puck retrieval rate on our end probably wasn't the best. Has a lot to do with the early goals and how Tampa really was effective on the forecheck, particularly early in the game. I thought they were quick to the puck, Kirby. I mean, I thought Tampa really did look. They had their skating legs tonight, and I got to give them credit there. And you could argue that first goal you'd like JoJo to have back. I mean, I know it's Reinhardt, but
yeah,
there's a back checker there.
Fans talk about when they want Bob to have one on a breakaway or 2-on-1. There was a couple tonight from JoJo.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's that one from Bennett off the post, right in the slot.
And this is JoJo's 8th straight start or 7th straight start. So
because Andre Vasilevsky is out, and they were hoping he could return by now. Now they're hoping he can return before Christmas, but John Cooper said he just does not know. So, I mean, that first goal, Kirby, particularly if you take a look, that was a 2-on-1, but there were Tampa Bay back checkers coming back that kind of forced Reinhardt to the outside, and maybe it wasn't as good as an opportunity as the Lundell goal. Probably one you want to have JoJo make the save on, but at the end of the day, I mean, I just think after the 10 minutes, this was kind of what we needed to do. And good on us. I mean, I really think in certain aspects of our game, again, like Kirby, I was kind of wondering your thoughts, particularly on the bottom pair. Uvis Balinskis was, in my opinion, outstanding tonight. I think he's really stepped up here on this road trip ever since Donovan Sabrango came into the lineup and then left the lineup for Petrie. Both Balinskis and Petrie have been really good, really steady for us. And obviously the injury to Gustav Forsling, Paul Maurice says he has no update. So we'll try
everyone
to
is worried in the chat. Yeah, it's just we've had to deal with injuries all year, and it hasn't really come to our back end, and we don't want to have that be the case now. But again, this could be a bigger indicator of like we need to bring someone in here.
That's what I was just going to say. You need to accelerate that process.
This needs to be accelerated, like I said, after Thanksgiving and into Christmas. Okay, couple things there, Nick. The Uvis Balinskis thing. I thought tonight he was getting caved in his own zone a little bit, but I thought the third period he fought back really strong. And I'll always take that trade-off of Kucherov going to the box for Balinskis. It's like, if you want to do that, Cooch, I'm all for it. But I thought Petrie was a little bit more of the sure one of the pairing early on. There was some place behind the net where Uvis was having trouble dealing with the puck there, just like Ekblad was in the first.
Particularly in that second period.
In the second period.
I would argue.
The first period for Ekblad, it was the second period with Balinskis.
I understand what Balinskis is trying to do there. I mean, you were taught typically some defensemen like to go up the boards. Typically, there'd be a center there on the low support option there. Oh, full Jim Behringer. Panthers might be making a call.
You know it, Jim. Jim, I told you Quinn Hughes was going to be moved. You got to give Kirby a W on that one. The heat was getting too high. When the heat gets high in Canada, deal's got to happen.
So
when you start seeing that smoke, there's fire close by.
I think there was a little bit of a physical edge to Balinskis' game that was showcased on this road trip, but particularly on the one where he did that backhand in the middle. That usually is to kind of offset the pressure. There's usually a forechecker coming in on him. There's a low forward there for support, and that's a quick breakout. So, I didn't work out there, but I understand what he was trying to do. And, there's many different breakout options there, right? So like my last coach.
I think Maurice has a lot of breakout options. That's why it's hard when new defense come into the system. Hey, what's the read? What do you have to do here?
Well, I'll tell you a story. I don't really ever talk about the system we use, but when I was playing
Hold on. Is this with Big Pete? With Peter Royal?
No, it's not actually.
Oh, okay. Another Panther player.
No, actually, no. I think this was with Peter Royal.
Okay.
It wasn't his full system, but the defenseman, they like to do this breakout. They used to call it the dink, where defenseman would pick up the puck, right? And kind of, I wish I had like a whiteboard here. Fuck.
Again, you were a winger on the team, right?
Yeah. The defenseman would pick up the puck off like the end wall, right? And they would dink it off the boards and have the following defenseman come and pick it up, kind of like a second layer to that to kind of offset the forechecker. And the defenseman would kind of skate and bring it up. They call that the dink breakout. And that was used a lot in the NHL, particularly in the COVID bubble. So if you ever see that kind of reverse play is what would be the technical term for it. Yeah. That's sometimes you have to analyze that as a defenseman. I don't know exactly what they're told to do, obviously, back there, but I'm sure there are many different options. But for me, I would like to prefer us just go up the boards and play to live another day at this point, because I don't think we have the forward talent consistently enough on all three lines, the top nine, how we like to roll them, to have that easy breakout. I'd like the defenseman to kind of chip it up off the wall. The forward could pick it up off the wall and feed it to the middle for a streaking center or winger coming through the neutral zone, fine. But I would think just going up the wall, doing the simple thing right now, which is what we did tonight, it's going to work. It's not going to look pretty, and I don't think tonight particularly looked pretty, but it gets the job done. So a lot to look forward to here. We kind of make up for the 3 games to Nashville, Calgary, and Philadelphia that we lost at home.
Yeah.
So this is kind of good. Now, you don't want to get into the what if games. Like, what if we had won one or two of those, like get a point against the extra point against Nashville, win that game against Calgary, or the one against Philadelphia. You had 2-0 leads in each of those games. You had a 1-0 lead in every single one of those games. I think we're finding our game. We're finding how to work without Barkov. And I think the goaltending is, went through a little bit of a slump there. I think it's back to the mean now. I think it's what it's supposed to be at. But
yeah, no, good point. I'm going to say some things that people aren't going to like here, and it's not excuse making, but having the Tampa Bay broadcast today, they actually, I'll say what they said off the top. They said a couple good things. One in particular, like, there is no room through the neutral zone. The Panthers are just closing everything off. Like, they were noticing that in real time, right? So they gave credit to the Panthers, 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions. There were plays tonight. Before I get to the plays, Tampa Bay is missing 4 defensemen and their starting goalie.
Yeah, well,
that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
And they only have about 200 man games in the lineup. I think half of those come from one of their defensemen that's in the lineup that the name is eluding me right now.
JJ Mosier?
I think so. And then there's another guy.
That or Darren Radish.
And Darren Radish, sorry. Those are the guys that have the hundreds of games where there's only like maybe between 50 to 100 games of the other guys that are in the lineup. So a lot of guys with no experience. Lilleberg just went out. McDonough's out long-term, I think, or has been out.
Edmund's out till February. He had surgery. So
forgetting another guy on the back end. And then
Jim, I was wondering if you were referring to the Dink breakout I just referenced. Because I don't know if the Devils use that, but I'd be interested to kind of see about that. I'm
assuming a lot of teams have copied the blueprint from the Devils in the 90s and 2000s. But again, just to get back onto what I was saying there. So there's injuries that Tampa's dealing with. It's not only the Panthers. Tampa dealing with a lot of those injuries. And Tampa might not be happy after tonight. There was a forearm shiver from Mikkola. There was one from Jones to Hagel. There were some grimy plays on the Panthers' end. And Sabrin was running around trying to fight with Mikkola and Ekblad. And there was something with Luosterainen. I did not catch that on the replay on the Tampa Bay broadcast. So you have to let me know on that one, Nick. But we were doing some grimy stuff out there in the third. And this is going to heat up. Like I said, it might not be the first game we play against Tampa. What is this now, the second game? But some game eventually this season, it's going to be a powder keg. And it's going to explode. Maybe when Matthew Tkachuk returns.
We like each other about as much as Kirby. We do not like each other at all, which makes it a great rivalry. And
I never hated so Matt, and Matt's, I think you're from the Canucks community. Appreciate you being here, Matt. I never hated Tampa Bay back in the day. I'm a year one Panthers fan since 1993. There was no reason to hate Tampa Bay. They owned us, or maybe they were mid and we were mid, or we had a season where we were, division leaders and then we dropped back down to the pack. Never played Tampa until what, Nick? 2019, 2020, whatever.
And then we got pumped. So then it wasn't like.
But that turned into a rivalry from that point, and it was starting to brew a little bit at that point with the Patrick Maroons, Corey Perrys. Now these guys are up in the press box. Ryan Malone, I think he's up there. And he's chirping about the Panthers working with the media.
Well, it's really the Maurice thing. You go and win one series, and then you go and win a cup. Automatically, the rivalry becomes the same thing.
And I don't think it's a rivalry if they're always beating us, Nick, in the playoffs. So it's like a one-sided rivalry.
I mean,
even though it was with the fan base,
We've done the exact same thing they did. They went to 3 straight cups and won 2 of them. We've done the same thing. And the regular season and playoff head to head, and we actually have the advantage with if you count it all up, right?
And I want
Playoffs
to
in
say
the same regular
it's
season.
a lot more fun for Matt than when we have to deal with it year after year after year after year. It's like me watching the Battle of Alberta or Vancouver playing Edmonton or something in the playoffs. It gets nasty as much with the fans as it did on the ice with Vancouver and Edmonton. But again, it was too much this year, Nick, in the preseason with all those penalties
Yeah,
things. Sabrin jumping at like, hey, we're not innocent. We are not innocent. But
we're
if you
not.
track the story of Tampa Bay and Florida, it starts back with Tampa when they wanted to play that bully hockey style and bullies and mandate, right? And I think that's where the Panthers learned from. They learned from Tampa.
Well, they created the enemy. They created this monster. When you really think about it,
It's when you bully the
they're
kid,
the reason. They pumped us. You know what we did?
and then that kid got bigger, like in grade 8 or grade 11, and he comes back, and now he's bullying kids, and he looks at you, and he's like, "You want some of this?"
Well, I mean, we
Right?
got pumped, we got swept, we got embarrassed, we got bullied, and then we said we're not doing that anymore. We brought in Matthew Tkachuk, brought in Paul Maurice, and kind of through that, I mean, we've had the success, obviously, just as they have had, and head to head, we've kind of gotten them back. So,
And people are going to be, oh, Kirby, Nick, the Panthers aren't tough. Go ask Sergachev. Go ask Chernak what Bennett and Lomberg did to their face. Like, go ask those guys, right? So, I think we've lost a couple of those guys, over time that in the trades.
and it made the rivalry that, yeah.
Like we have some rats, we have agitators. We've also lost Nick Cousins, but like I think we're missing some elements of those guys, and bringing in Brad Marchand last year was big because I think we were really lacking in that.
Well, now we don't lack in it anymore. I don't think.
No, I think we have enough out there when it's Tkachuk, Bennett, and Marchand. But I wouldn't mind adding a heavyweight.
And even Greer, I mean, he's pissed them off quite a bit, right? I mean, they hate him. I mean, it's incredible, but I mean, it's kind of fun to have a rivalry, isn't it? Especially when you're winning. You're losing, not so much.
Yeah. So Zeb has talked about the Tampa Bay broadcast. So Zeb, I had it too. I don't think it's a great play by Jones there. And the Mikkola one I thought was worse behind the net. That was Jake Gensel's first fight, by the way. I did hear that on the Tampa Bay broadcast. So if you're Gensel, I'd be upset too, Nick. Am I wrong on this?
Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, look, I think that's just how the game goes. It's like anytime there's a scrum, there's going to be a scrum, and that's it. I mean, it's not.
They wanted him to. Sabrin wanted to fight, and he didn't.
And I think Gensel has history with Mikkola, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if he does. I could have sworn there was something. I saw something on Twitter today. Oh, okay, he does.
Are you talking back to last year's playoffs, Rhino, or prior? I'm trying to remember.
I could have sworn it's.
Was that where Mikkola got that boarding play penalty?
No, that was Girgensons.
Oh, Girgensons, you're right.
I think at the point, if we're saying, "Oh, they're dirty," it's all a fucking wash at this point. I mean, we just don't.
Yeah, I'm just saying we can't whine as fans if they do something to us.
It's a rivalry, and they're both dirty. So not right. I mean, it's hockey, so that's it.
I agree with Den here.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean. And that took a long time to get that deal through. Remember, I mean, there was Mikkola boarded Girgensons, David. But going back to the Hornquist thing, that took a while to get that trade through. Remember with Matheson and Colton Sevier?
Well, Hornquist did not want to leave, and Pittsburgh just blindsided him with that.
Yeah,
remember he threw the equipment out on his front.
Yeah, I remember that photo.
But but fans, you got to understand, he won a Stanley Cup with them. There's a lot of history that we know what that feeling is now, right? And how the Penguins dealt with that wasn't the best, situation. I think also Lomberg and guys that Zito was adding around that time as well there.
I also think we really haven't had we haven't needed to have any of those types of departures. The closest one would be Jonathan Huberdeau, and that was before any of this happened. So, yeah. And there were other things there, obviously. But, the particular thing with Hornquist is, towards the end of his career with us, I mean, he started off as a legit top 6 forward, was kind of that power play merchant right in front of the net, and then kind of turned into this fourth line guy, but was a really skilled fourth line guy, because a lot of times what you see, like Corey Perry nowadays, you see these former top 6 power forwards kind of evolved into these bottom 6 power forwards, but they still have the hands they used to have. They don't move as well. And I remember that Lostereen and Lomberg Hornquist line. I mean, Kirby, that was a hell of a fourth line. I mean, they were dominant down the stretch there. And I was looking back at it.
I just want to jump in here on Joe's point here.
Say the number.
I was the biggest proponent of calling out John Cooper when he brought up all those AHL Goon Squad guys. Remember a few years back, Kevin Connaughton had to come in there, and he had, I think it was Walcott, and he could have just leveled them, and he just pulled back. Those guys came in, they were running around, they were trying to take out Barkov, they were trying to take out Huberdeau. That was really malicious. That was premeditated. That was even worse than this past year, Nick.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was pretty clear what was going on. And remember, the game before that, there was also problems. Remember, that's the season there were 2 games back to back in the series. So,
and Tampa already had their spot locked in. We were going for our position. Correct.
So you kind of saw the animosity building. You could have animosity build, like you play a guy one day, and then the next day you're playing him again, right? So I think that really contributed to this rivalry because we've seen each other a lot. Like when you take a look over a 5-year stretch, it's more than most teams. I don't believe we played a team more than we played the Tampa Bay Lightning these last couple of years. And if it is, then it's Toronto, Boston, and they're even sort of rivalries, right? We don't like each other. So it's just fun to see, though, because rivalries were, I wouldn't even use that to describe what we were beforehand. We were just their whipping boy. So I'll take it.
Yeah. No, I don't know if anything else there in the chat. We will go to a break here just in a minute here, Nick, when you're ready to cue that up, and we'll come back. We'll talk about this a little bit more, and then kind of a little bit of a look ahead here too. But we'll get to everyone here today because it's just Nick and I. So we'll get to all your questions in the chat. Again, I just want to mention we'll have the Matthew Tkachuk thing. We could start this up now, so we're going to start taking notes off for members that are out there. Again, the gold and silver members will be eligible there. I think we'll probably award it when Matthew Tkachuk comes back. So the week that he comes back, that'll be a good present there. We're waiting.
I wish I had it next to me right now. I don't, but
you don't have it next to you right now. We'll show it off there. We'll show it off there later on. And again, these are donated items from Les Dunbar, yoursportsmemorabiliastore.com, official merchandise provider of Brad Marchand. We're looking to get future stuff here as well, Nick, down the road, because, tied in with Brad Marchand, a lot of the Panther players. I know he deals with other stuff too, not just sports items. So make sure to check out his website, especially during the holiday season here, yoursportsmemorabiliastore.com.
Yep. And a special shout out to Les Dunbar once again. And as we thank Les for all he's done and all of you, we hear for a word from our sponsor, CanesWear.
Panthers fever is here. Are you geared up? CanesWear in Davie is the place for all your Florida Panthers needs. They have the latest gear for our favorite NHL team. Jerseys, polos, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. CanesWear has you covered. Stop by their store in Davie or at pantherswear.com. Again, that's pantherswear, WEAR.com for all your Panthers gear.
And another word from our sponsor, our great sponsor, Jeremy Beckham. Champions don't settle, and neither should you. Let me introduce Jeremy Beckham at Beck Sells FLA, bringing a competitive edge to South Florida luxury real estate. If you want a home that performs in all 3 zones, just give me a second here. I'm kind of double tasking here today. Location, lifestyle, and long-term value, Jeremy is your power play. The clock's ticking. Let's go for the cup. Reach out now at BeckSellsFLA.com. Again, that's BeckSellsFLA.com.
Thank you for that, Kirby. And once again, shout out to Les Dunbar for all the memorabilia he has donated. And shout out to our members, obviously. Wouldn't be able to do these giveaways and run this without you guys, so we really do appreciate it. So there was a point in tonight's game that I was kind of thinking with the 2-goal lead, I'm like, shit, we haven't really been that good. I believe going back to the Toronto game, and I believe we blew 2 more 2-goal leads after this. We've given up 16 multiple goal leads in the NHL, or excuse me, we've been trailing by multiple goals 16 times in games this year, which leads the NHL. So I think one of the biggest parts of what we've been able to do here is obviously when you take a look, particularly at the Calgary game and the Philadelphia game, getting off to those quick starts basically meant nothing because, I mean, when you take a look, goaltending and defense led to quick goals right back. I think tonight what I really wanted to see is a simplicity in our game. And I think that's the part I'm most excited about because there seems to be a balance there now that wasn't there before. And you saw a bit of it in the Utah game. And Kirby, I know you and Caesar were not too thrilled about that game through the first two periods, or the first and third period. The second period you were thrilled with. I feel that there has been elements of that throughout this road trip, obviously discounting the Colorado game for sure. Was wondering what your thoughts were there on the simplicity of our game.
Yeah, just with the chat here. Just like in aspect of tonight here, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought from the beginning, I know like when you capitalize on your scoring chances, it alleviates everything and it allows Paul Maurice to say, okay, we can play our system through the neutral zone. We can play our style. We don't have to take those chances with the defense. That's what the problem's been. And it even goes back to the Utah game early on in that game, Nick. So I did not love that game compared to the Islanders game at home. It's like you're taking chances up and pinching and you're making the wrong reads and choices. You didn't have to do that tonight. And if you did that tonight, you're going to get caught by Kucherov, Gensel. Like they got a lot of guys here. Nick Paul was in that slot area where Bob had to be sharp on a couple of shots. I know not your favorite, but he looked pretty dynamic at times tonight. And I think the Tampa Bay forwards tonight looked a lot more dangerous than the Dallas forwards did the other night. I think there was a stat I heard. Rantanen, Rope Hintz, and someone else. Was it? I'm trying to think of the other guy. I don't know if it was.
I didn't have the Tampa broadcast, so.
Okay, no, but there's 3 Dallas Stars the other night that had 0 shots recorded on net. I don't think that
Wyatt Johnston.
It was Wyatt Johnston.
I think it was Wyatt Johnston.
So I don't think that was going to be the case tonight, Nick. Even if we get up 1-2 and we're kind of playing loose hockey, we can't play run and gun style hockey.
Well, I don't think
so many fans that think, hey, let's do that every once in a while, like that Columbus game. That's going to catch up to you if you continually play like that.
And I don't think we did that tonight. I pointed it out live on the Colorado game. The right defense, pinching up, lack of support from the forward led to a lot of odd man rushes. A lot of times what teams do to counteract the defenseman pinching up, you could go back. I remember there's a game, this is the first time we played Toronto. I believe it was game 3 in 2023 playoffs. You'll go see, I think it was Giordano or somebody passes the puck to Alex Kerfoot. I actually saw this goal the other day. That's why I was reminded of it. Kerfoot kind of skates away from, I believe it was Mark Stahl at the time, forcing Stahl to kind of pinch up a little bit more or be flat-footed. Then that pass gets sent across ice or chipped off the boards, and it leads to a 2-on-1. That's where Matthews hit the post, and then Lafferty eventually scored. So what's up, Jeremy? I feel like we were kind of running into that problem multiple times this year when we were trying to pinch up. That's our game. We want to create a lot of pressure and kind of create that nonstop right in. If they get it out, it's right back in, not getting it any further than the red line. And we've been really good at that. And that comes down to 2 things. Number one, you saw it in a stat earlier this year. I don't know what the updated stat is. The puck retrieval rate for us has not been as good. We have not won nearly the amount of puck battles this year as we have in previous years. I remember that stat that came out. I think it was by Big Head Hockey.
Okay.
I believe that's the page that did it. And also, you don't have Alexander Barkov. You're forcing these players to do a little bit more and play in a bit different situation. Puck support's not there when the defenseman pinches down. It leads to a 2-on-1 back the other way. And I think when I say simplicity, that's what it really came down to. We didn't need to do any of that. And those 2 quick goals gave us the opportunity. Smart situational hockey. And, there are other ways to do that. And I think the power play is coming. It's cooking. I think Tkachuk comes back. Maybe it gives a little bit of oomph, but
I think with Tkachuk back, Reinhart gets more looks.
Exactly. And I think Seth Jones is starting to let it rip a little bit more. Yep. I mean, that's an element we haven't seen from any of our power plays in the last couple of years, even when Brandon Montour was running it, Aaron Ekblad last year, Seth Jones, go back to Mackenzie Weegar and Keith Yandel running it. It was always either that one-timer. Now for this past couple of years, it's been the bumper. It's never been the defenseman letting it rip. I feel like Jones is really the first guy that, can really.
I think
I know you're gonna say
Montour wanted to. He wasn't getting the touches because of
but I think you can
Is
open it up for Jones a little bit more.
Barkov and Tkachuk aren't out there, Nick, that the defense is getting more looks and opportunities as well. We don't go through our defensemen on the power play.
Well, there's no look through our defenseman, period. But
we haven't since Barkov's been around. Not even with Yandel. Yandel quarterbacked it, but we didn't go through our defensemen, if you get what I mean.
I understand what you're saying, and look at today. Verhaeghe had a couple of opportunities where he kind of gets that puck on the top half of the circle, and he walks right in and shoots. Then you get a Bennett opportunity where Marchand's patient along the half wall, opens up Bennett in the slot, quick shot. Then you have Reinhart down low. There was an early part of the game where Reinhart kind of tried to tuck it short side on Johansson right at the side of the net. There's room on the post, on the far side, excuse me. So there's lanes opening up here.
They're doing something. We called out Jamie Compon a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, do something with this power play. It's static. Make adjustments, make changes. And guys are moving around a lot more now. They're listening.
Yep. I feel there's a little bit more respect to our players now. Where at the beginning of the year, I talked about there's not a threat, a dynamic offensive threat there. And there's been some adjustments, and I think that adjustment is partly players need to play better, and Carter Verhaeghe and Sam Bennett notably have stepped up their games.
Yeah, that helps when those guys play better at $15 million combined. You guys shouldn't be down on the third line. You should be up the lineup, and you should be producing a little bit on the power play as well.
And now you start to see they respect Verhaeghe's shot a little bit more, and that opens Jones up on the point. You have Marchand, who really the one player I think they respect puck possession-wise. I like Reinhart on the power play. I think he's more of a net front type of deflection guy, bumper play.
Did you see them having Bennett in the bumper tonight? I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I know. I mean, but that's the looks that open up.
Yeah, if it's there, then okay. But I don't think we run a read option or a motion offense in basketball. That's Reinhart's spot.
I sense a little bit more creativity. There's nothing stagnant there. I feel getting shots through, getting them on net. I really like kind of how we have the two forwards on the side of the net set up. You can have Marchand there. You have Reinhart behind the net. Kind of have Verhaeghe on that half wall there to support. Bennett kind of in that middle ice area and the bumper area. So you have an opportunity for puck retrieval.
And as long as Bennett's moving, that he doesn't stay there, he's moving. Okay, if it's not there, I'm getting out.
Because you have an opportunity for
puck retrieval. Move and replace. Because
you have opportunities for puck retrieval and puck support. Obviously, if you lose that first battle, there's the second guy there to support. There's an opportunity for a puck possession going on the wall for Marchand. Maybe look for things to open up. Or Reinhart below the net. Reinhart could go from behind the net and feed it to Verhaeghe, walking down the wall and rip it. Or as we saw here today, Reinhart feeds Jones across the ice, and Jones has an opportunity in the high slot. That was going in if it didn't hit J.J. Mosier.
I want to say this. I just want to jump in, Antonio, right on the mark. Something about that rink, too, where we get those shorthanded chances. Remember last year, the Luosterainen game?
Two. Greer as well.
Yeah, and Greer as well. Yeah. Like last year, it was even more wide open on those shorthanded chances.
So, I mean, really good creativity on that power play, and I sense it coming. I think when Tkachuk comes back, I'm really kind of curious to see what they do with Marchand. I mean, do they put him on that half on that Barkov area and put Tkachuk back down low where Reinhart's in the bumper now, and then you have Verhaeghe and Jones where they're currently at?
Just jump in quick, Nick, with Beef Cat here. I always say this to you off air. Maybe some people don't know it here on our YouTube channel. I can never get mad at Verhaeghe because what he does in the playoffs. But last year, it was infuriating. This year, I was getting on him even more because I'm like, you're repeating what you did last year. And I feel, personally speaking, I know you might differ on this, Nick, you're not doing the little things. So now he was able to get off that scoring schneid, which lasted a lot longer last year.
I don't think he really ever got out of it till the playoffs last year, if you want my honest opinion.
Well, he made that little tease game. Remember where he had 2 goals against the Islanders or something?
Yeah,
like that?
and then you know.
It's like it didn't build anything, but he would.
Yeah, I feel he's always been a streaky scorer where, like, when he gets going, he's hot. And there wasn't any of that last year. Now he's kind of
and he didn't go off in the playoffs last year like Carter Verhaeghe has been known to in the past. We didn't need him to.
No, I feel you take a look at the stats for us last year. We had a bunch of guys who collected 15-plus points, and it didn't feel like it. I mean,
like Luosterainen was leading the team in points.
It's kind of crazy to think that if I told you Brad Marchand
in the playoffs
had less points than Sam Reinhart, would you believe? Well, no, because everybody felt that Marchand was dominating, right? So
Yeah.
I think,
and Reinhardt and Barkov were being quiet in the playoffs. They were dealing with some injuries, but they weren't being their normal selves if you're talking offensive production.
yeah, and that's really kind of the part
Scary.
that really kind of pisses me off here a little bit this year is that forward depth. And it kind of going into your alluding point about going further down the lineup, it's required guys like Evan Rodriguez this year to not only take a step up in terms of ice time and role deployment, he's had to play center. He's actually had to shift to the middle of the ice where we don't really have a third center outside of Evan Rodriguez.
But the frustrating thing about that was that Bennett wasn't playing well and drops down the lineup, and you have Bennett there. I know you don't have Barkov, but you have Bennett there. So, again, like, I didn't get on the coaching staff a lot this year. There's certain things and elements that I didn't like where, Jesper Boquist is coming up the lineup, and I know we don't have a lot of options, but I almost rather give, Samoskevich or even a Jack Devine chance over Jesper Boquist because you know what you have with Jesper, right?
Yeah.
It's not a lot. But I can't get mad at the coaching staff when a guy like Bennett is underperforming and you have Erod moving up the lineup when you're dealing with the injuries you have.
Yeah, and I'm taking a look here. I'm trying to see when the scoring kind of started for Carter Verhaeghe and Sam Bennett here. It all kind of really started in that Nashville game on the road, which coincidentally, you could argue our worst week of the season thus far. I mean, that's the week we lost to Philadelphia and Calgary, but ever since then, Carter Verhaeghe's been on a toward pace, and you start to kind of take a look at the 82 game pace now. He's on pace for nearly 70 points. Reinhardt's on a point per game pace. Marchand's over that. Lundell is on pace for like a 60-point season. Bennett's on pace for 50 points. If we could get a little bit more offense from our defensemen, which we have of late. I remember Cody came with that stat. I think at some point, I believe it was on a podcast episode, we only had one defenseman with a goal this entire year. And I don't even know who it was. It might have been Seth Jones, but talk about we needed some more from the back end, particularly with Barkov out. Seth Jones has 5 goals. You take a look, Aaron Ekblad, 2 points tonight. He's up to 10 on the year. Ubas Balinskis has actually provided some pretty nice offensive
I need more from other than Jones on the back end. If you're talking
Absolutely.
Because the way they're playing defensively hasn't been great. I'm talking to you, Ekblad, Forsling, and Mikkola. So I need more from those guys, right?
Yeah. And, I don't want to rag on the guy, but I will say in particular, the fourth line was absolutely fucking atrocious tonight. I mean,
well, they haven't been bad, but explain. You're talking Gregor.
Noah Gregor, I mean, look.
Okay, do you blame Gregor on that turnover? Did you see what Ekblad did on that play?
I'm not talking about that one alone, but there are a lot of times where Gregor, there's a lot of ice in the neutral zone. He's kind of skating through, and Gregor's just sitting there looking at him. Like he doesn't do anything.
That's not good then if Paul Maurice.
He's not doing anything. Like it might have been me. I might have just been a one-off.
No, you might catch it something. That's not good.
I mean, he's not going to the guy. And I mean, take a look. He has multiple opportunities to get the puck out of the zone. He can't get the puck out. So, I mean, simple plays like that. I mean, when you're this kind of on the fringe there with Luke Cunnin, Studnicka, I know Boquist is there. You have Gadjevich and Kachuk coming back relatively soon.
Okay.
I mean, there's going to be a discussion. I also think fourth line center role has to be addressed right now. I mean, when we lack this much center depth, I think the loss of Tomas Nosek, I know it's not huge, but it does hurt, particularly having a reliable center to take draws, put in situational. You might ask for a little bit more from. Honestly, it's where you miss a guy like Kevin Stenlund the most in a season like this, where he could have probably taken a further step up as AJ Greer has.
I might be getting ahead of myself, and I'm biased on this, but when do we look down to Charlotte? And you know who I'm talking about. I'm trying to grab his name here. Grayson Sachin. When do we look?
Oh, I thought you were talking about film. Oh, you're talking about center. I don't know if that's the option, frankly. I don't know how I
call them up. He could play a 4C, 3C. You don't need him up the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel we're not getting enough.
Try Divine. When is it Sachin?
I just feel like we're not getting enough consistency down the middle. I mean, top 3-5. I feel like
he's a gritty guy. Like he's a guy that's going to compete, right?
And then
like a dog on a bone,
And even like Jesper Boquist. I mean,
and Sachin has more offense than Boquist does now. I'll put my leg in the ground.
I mean, he's been bad, Kirby, and I know that's
I don't think Grayson Sachin's going to go 28 games without scoring a goal. And if he does come up and he's struggling to score, well, those are his first few games, right?
Right.
So,
And, I just think Jesper Boqvist is an NHL player, NHL caliber player.
but I think Grayson Sachin is a top 6, top 9.
And he's had opportunities this year. And when you're getting demoted over Mackey and AJ Greer, that's not the best sign for you, in my opinion, coming back. I mean,
and he gets so much opportunity with Paul Maurice and the coaching staff, and then he gets demoted when you don't even have a full lineup, and they're like, okay, we've seen enough. Now we're dropping you down to the 4th. We have maybe one guy coming back in the lineup, but that shouldn't drop you all the way down. It's the player performance, lack thereof.
Yeah, and if I could say on Tomas Nosek, I said this very early on in the year, I believe, the preview for our season, just after Barkov got hurt. I was told early on Tomas Nosek was out for the year. And Emily Kaplan's talked
very
about
good intel on that. And
so Emily Kaplan's also said they're looking like playoffs beyond there.
They weren't saying that before. That's what she's saying now.
I mean, they don't even touch on it. This is Nosek is in the Barkov range, which is long term. So we're not going to have Tomas Nosek back for a while. Jonah Gadjevich and Matthew Tkachuk are coming back. I feel like that's really going to help our forward depth. Then you start to wonder, okay, like we talk about the Gustav Forsling injury. Kirby, we've heard some names on the back end. When do you start to look at other options, maybe on the forward depth a little bit? Because I do think if we're going to need to go make a playoff push here to hopefully get Barkov back, if that's what our plan is, you need a little bit more because you're going to have more injuries down the stretch.
Yeah, and I don't know when these centers become available. Go ask the Vancouver Canucks. Go ask the Montreal Canadiens.
And I'm not saying it needs to be. I'm not saying it needs to be anything spectacular. I mean, I'm looking at
we talked about this a couple of weeks ago with our boy Chris Scott, Oscar Sundqvist from St.
Oscar Sundqvist would be an ideal name
because St. Louis is really struggling and could be sellers here.
And I think that could really help us, right?
But like Columbus, maybe not as low in the standings as we would have hoped. Definitely not the Islanders. No. JJ Pageau or whatever. So again, there's some guys that just haven't become available. I know Matt's in the chat here with the Canucks. We're not looking for.
And there's also been talk of Philip Danault in LA. He's probably going to be on the move here sooner rather than later. Been mentioned over the summer.
That's a weird one though with LA there.
I'm not really sure what's going on there. I mean, they feel like they're right in a playoff mix, but they're not really happy with how things are going there. And now Fiala and Byfield are out. Questionable decisions over the offseason probably have contributed to their performance this year, but we're not going to get into that. And
I don't think Calgary fits right now.
I was actually just thinking this, Meeksy, and I want to talk a little bit about the Quinn Hughes center market and Marco Rossi thing after this, if we could, Curb. Lucas Reichel would definitely be an interesting option. I feel not as much of a solidifying veteran.
Yeah, I don't think that's Maurice, your boy. I know your boy likes the younger prospects, the younger players. I don't know if that's a fit for us.
I think a guy like Oscar Sundqvist could really go a long way for us now.
Stanley Cup winner. How long has he been in the league now? 7-8 years, maybe?
I think he's been in the league about a decade now. Mean, so a guy with NHL experience, big physical guy.
Same age group of the other guys.
And he is a good tier above the Gregors and the Cunnins and the what we have there now.
Yeah.
So I think that could really be a benefit for us. And it's not like it cost a ton.
Maybe a second or a third.
If that, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't even know if it will cost that. But the center market is high.
I'm for it right now. Let's do it.
I mean, I like the Luke Cunnin thing. So Nico Sturm I liked last year. He got hurt. Luke Cunnin I also liked. I think Luke Cunnin.
And I will give them Jesper Boqvist with the 3rd or the 4th.
Correct. I liked Luke Cunnin. I still do. I feel like that was contingent on Barkov not getting hurt. Once that kind of threw everything out the window. I feel like picking up a natural center, veteran guy, 4th line that could kind of elevate above a Studnicka or a Cunnin or a Gregor could really be a benefit for us. And
can we talk? I just want to jump in. Can we talk on your boy's comment here? I get what he's saying. It could apply to 80-90% of the teams. I don't think it applies to the Panthers.
And the crazy part here is I
just give out some feedback here with your boy because I like what he's saying, but I don't think it fits our situation.
I feel like that's like 3D chess, like a bit. I mean, you go get a guy, like just to have a player who could play big time minutes. It could be a guy to get pieces.
Like it sounds supplement. It sounds easy, but it's not really how Paul Maurice runs his.
Like you're not going to acquire a guy to play well and then use that guy's trade chip to go get some other pieces. Is that what he's saying?
I think he's talking, and your boy, you can clarify. And I think he's talking about, you know, you get a young guy in there could supplement other things that's going on with your lineup, whether injuries or veteran guys. But Paul Maurice doesn't have the patience, and it's not the timeline to be able to run those guys out there. At the very most, it's a Mackey and Devine. He's not searching out there for other guys.
I did want to say this would have been a good year for Justin Sourdif.
Yes, but he's been in the system for a while.
And I think he was ready. They knew he was ready, but the anticipation was there was no room for him. Well, now there is with the injuries, and you probably could have pushed Greer down with both.
But if you're bringing a guy in from somewhere else, like your boy's saying, it's not the same as Sourdif, who's been in the system for 4 or 5 years.
Correct, absolutely. And I'm looking at
he's been in prospect camp, what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
I do want to say that Justin Sourdif has been a solid kind of middle, bottom 6 checking forward, playing around 13 minutes a night, as well as I think he's been mainly playing on the wing, as far as I know. But I do.
He was getting center reps with us.
And Matt, actually, Alex Wenberg's a name we had heard for Florida, coincidentally.
Yeah, he's been
a good player. Good player for sure. If a Barkov injury were to take him out of the playoffs, which they're not saying right now, I would definitely look at that. What I'm thinking more of now with the plan of you need to save money for when Barkov comes back. Kirby, you mentioned it. Chris Scott, yeah, the Oscar Sundqvist type center, cheap veteran guy could come in, win face-off
last year. It didn't pan out, but
win face-offs, kill penalties, and kind of give your other guys some rest there. He can take on a little bit more minutes and
you don't even need PK. You need 5-on-5 minutes, Nick, with that guy.
Correct, but I mean, if you can give some supplemental help to the top 9, and particularly those top 3 centers, and take out a Gregor or a Cunnin, or a Studnicka.
But this sounds crazy. I don't want to mess with the PK units. Like, I want Marchand out there. I want Reinhardt out there. I want Lundell out there. We would be talking about, hey, give Barkov a breather. But I don't want those guys to have a breather. Those guys are momentum changers during the PK and shorthanded. All we need to find is a center that can give us the 5-on-5.
And a guy that
in the matchup.
And a guy that Maurice can trust. I think Sundqvist fits the bill.
That's the other thing in it. We can't bring a guy in that he doesn't trust, and that Zito wanted to bring in or Sonny wanted to bring in, and then Maurice is like, I don't really know what to do with this guy.
What's up, Fabs?
How's it going, Fabs?
Yeah.
I see you, Fabs. You hear his voice at the end of our Cats and Rats outro all the time. That's Fabs right there.
Shout out there.
Yeah, he helps us on the production side.
You know, the thing on Stevenson, there's too much term there. I don't want, because the weird and unique part of this situation we're in right now is we don't need a fix past this season. This is a 1-year, relatively short-term thing. Okay. And you're not going to go, you don't want to go spend major assets on a good center to go make a playoff run, when realistically, if Barkov's not here for a playoff run, your chances are severely diminished, and you're not going to keep that guy next year when you already have Lundell and Bennett signed long-term. So it doesn't really make sense. It's a very tough position.
Because, is this right? How much penalty kill minutes is Bennett getting?
I don't
know. I'd like to see that. Go to Quant Hockey on that one. I'd like to know. If it's 20 seconds or less, I don't really.
I don't know what he's been doing, but let me see here.
Is it under 20 seconds? Average time on ice for PK.
Let's see here. Shorthanded. He had no shorthanded minutes tonight, according to Quant Hockey. But he had a minute 22 last game against Dallas, a minute 21 against Colorado, 59 versus Utah, 12 seconds versus the Islanders, a minute 49 against Columbus.
Oh, but again, more than I thought. But what's he averaging on the year? It should show you there.
I can't tell that. I'm sorry, Kirby.
Okay, I'll do it later on the filter thing.
So
I'm guessing it's under 30 seconds.
I don't know. I can't really tell from
Could be above
here.
But that's a little bit more here. What? Hey, I didn't even pick up on that. So thank you, Chad. Maybe Paul Maurice, like, we need you to do more things out there, Ben. So hey, if he starts doing that, are you guys going to call him an all-purpose player? Well, we'll see. Yeah, that's what Reinhart does in his sleep. And Nick, we talked about this off air with someone about appreciating Sam Reinhart. Like, he does everything.
I mean, like, in the middle of the fucking stream, like, fuck.
Come on, he does everything. Play this later for that person. He does everything. Let's go. He's cerebral.
Fuck. I mean,
I love Trocheck. Yeah. The chat's going off on Vinny, but I don't know price-wise, and I don't know the fit there. If we're going to a player like that, I'm bringing in Kadri probably.
So possibly some Vancouver insider info here. JT Miller waived to go to the Ranger most because Trocheck is his lifelong best friend. I know the Rangers are in it rough. Doubt they trade Trocheck, though.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in anything long-term. Barkov, Bennett, Lundell, that's our top 3 centers. That's it. I'm going to run it back with it next year. Kirby, I know you say you can't guarantee anything. I like our chances to be the favorites in the East again next year once we're healthy. And
well, who's the favorite this year?
I don't know. I don't think there is a favorite right now.
The team we played tonight?
I don't think there is a favorite right now. I think it's still to be determined.
Why I'm not skipping ahead to go to next year.
But again,
hey,
what I mean by next year,
no, Nick, if this was last year, you remember me on Space's postgame show, you were fighting me. Everyone was fighting me. Kirby, stop giving Carolina and Toronto so much credit. If we were playing those teams last year, we'd be in trouble this year.
No,
we're done.
We're not.
But this year, look at Tampa. This is what Tampa has to show, and I know they have injuries.
But so do we. We're going to be healthier by the time April comes around. Whether that means Barkov or not, I don't know. But we are going to be a better team on paper now than we were.
This division is not strong at the top.
No, it's not even. I mean,
This is the worst it's been in 8 years.
Coming into tonight, I wonder if this is like a record. Going into December 15th, which is 10 days before Christmas. We love the 4 seed.
That's just learning us. We do this all the time.
We fucking love the 4 seed position.
We do this over on Spaces X post game.
After Nick Waugh fucked us in the Stanley Cup final, we loved
Nick
it.
Was all on that.
I was like, fuck this shit.
4 seed matters, and we're like to Nick, that's the best of the best. Not every.
And then who did we get? We got Kevin Stenlund.
Kevin Stenlund became that.
And then Kevin Stenlund. But coming into December 15th, and it might still stand this way, there were no teams in the Eastern Conference with a losing record. There was no team below 500. What? That's incredible. 2 months into the season, there's no team with a losing record, and we're almost at New Year. I mean, that's unheard of. And I'm actually going to take a look at it right now.
We're going to wrap here in about 5 minutes. Everyone get your questions in.
I think that still stands. Yeah, it still stands. There is no team as of this time right now, December 15th, 11:13 p.m., that in the Eastern Conference that has a record below 500.
Wow.
So
I'm just saying, last year, Carolina, Toronto, a lot of you guys in our community, love you guys. You didn't want to give them credit because you hate Carolina. A lot of you hate Toronto, or moderator David. Just Toronto's in his head all the time. I don't know why. We own them. But like what Berube was doing last year, what Brindamore was doing, like that cannot be, discounted. What Panthers, they had to go to 7 games against Toronto. And then Carolina, I don't know what happened to Carolina.
I do.
We just got their number.
Belt to ass.
That was shocking, though. That was shocking.
And David, if I could answer the question, yes, there's a reason Barkov's not on season-ending LTIR. There is a reason. If he was done, they would have put it there. Clearly, they believe that there is an opportunity for him to come back at some point, or else they would have put him there already.
Or they're listening to Barkov's camp, and they're giving him that allowance right now.
Or that. We don't know.
Franchise.
Correct. They are operating financially, and
they would do the same thing with Bob, but go ahead.
They're operating financially and with the cap space, like they are potentially anticipating having him back at some point. Now, if that's your plan, if you're going to go with that, I mean, we're 3 points away from the first spot in the division. We have a game in hand on Boston, who lost tonight, I believe, or lost.
We've had 3 games in hand on them.
Yeah, I don't think we have that many anymore. We're 2 points behind Montreal for third, and we're 3 points behind Detroit and Tampa for first and second. Detroit plays the Islanders tomorrow. Montreal plays Philadelphia. So there's an opportunity
Tampa
here.
was starting to run away with it there, Nick, and this has really caught up to them. The injuries, another.
Yeah, for sure. And they're not getting Bassey back this week, probably.
That's not going to help with them pulling ahead. Then.
So there is a possible, if not plausible, situation where we end up in a top 3 position by the end of the week. I mean,
how shocking is that for you, Nick?
I mean, look, we were really starting to fall behind, and this was.
You were really worried. You were really worried.
I was concerned because
you can never count the Panthers out because I'm an old school Panther fan. When you start to count them out, that's when they suck you right back in. And this road trip was not set up for it to be successful.
Going into it, it was a reasonable assumption to say we've been struggling. We haven't taken advantage of the easier points on our schedule, and now you have a daunting road trip ahead of you.
And all those home games, and
the daunting road trip actually has ended up being our best hockey of the year.
And they're doing this without Matthew Tkachuk in the lineup, who kind of rallies the troops on the road.
So
everyone's going to say it's too loose to ride, and I'm like, relax.
So I think.
He helps, but
he helps. I think it's more. I think it's more the people he's replacing than his direct impact.
Yeah. Okay.
But you get Tkachuk back here in a couple weeks.
Now you can go on the road. Look at what you're doing with this group.
I mean, you come back home. 2 of your next 3 games are against LA and St. Louis. There is a potential there for wins, and with the way other teams are injured right now and other teams are kind of slipping a bit here, if you can get in a playoff spot by Christmas, which is very possible, Matthew Tkachuk's coming back, you're in a playoff spot. And even if you're not in a playoff spot, you're right around there.
I don't know if you disagreed with me or not, Nick, but I think you maybe tended to more agree with me on this point. The post-Thanksgiving standings, it didn't matter this year, I said, in the East.
No, I don't think it did.
And now the West, you can talk, well, that's different. But the East, it didn't matter this year.
I think it's so different because you remember going into last offseason's July 1st, it's like every team but Pittsburgh wants to get better, wants to win. Remember that conversation over the summer? Like every team's looking to get better. And then Pittsburgh, the one team that wants to get worse, is actually in a playoff spot. So there goes that. They're right outside of a playoff spot, but there's opportunities here, like with Boston for a wild card potential. There's opportunities here for Montreal and Detroit with the top 3 spot. So, you can potentially get into or around a playoff spot by the time Tkachuk comes back. You're getting a legit point per game winger. It's going to help one of the best players in the NHL. So, you get into a playoff spot by then, having him back, you're in a really good spot, but it's still going to be a grind. It's going to be a longer grind than we anticipate than it has been in past years. You're going to be looking at the standings a little bit longer, a little bit further into February and March. You're going to be looking at them. Then you probably heck, you might even be looking at them in April. At this rate this year. But so are a lot of teams. And we might not know who's going to be first in the Atlantic and who's going to be the first team out in the division going into March and April. It's quite possible. So there's a kind of like a crux of teams there. I'd anticipate Toronto is going to start to ramp it up here. There's no way they're going to let this season go off the rails. Detroit, I don't believe in them. I think that fall off's coming. Kirby, I know you agree with me on that. It's coming.
I'm letting you lead the way, but I'm with you on it.
It's coming. Just wait. It's going to be great. And then I'm going to have my victory lap. Montreal, I think, is here to stay along with Ottawa, and Tampa's obviously going to be in the mix. And I wonder if Swayman can keep Boston in the mix up until around the trade deadline. So, unless Boston says if they're in a position, Kirby, can you see Boston saying, we're in a position, let's go make some moves to try to go for a playoff spot this year?
That's interesting because we talked to a lot of their content creators. We dug in on Boston. I think it's shocking them as much as anyone. But I did say with the caveat, my dark horse Vezina pick this year was Jeremy Swayman. Mm-hmm. I think he's been really good, but I'm not even going to say he's been lights out where he's the top of the league. what Spencer Knight was doing, what Wallstat was doing, even what Brandon Bussey's doing. But yeah, like
it's called Morgan Geekie and David Pasternak.
Yeah, Geeky's maybe the one. Geeky's the one. Yeah.
And
but
look, I mean,
was doing that last season too, the calendar year.
Yeah, you take a look here. It's the Lightning, Montreal, Florida, Toronto, Ottawa. Those are all quality to good to great teams that are going to be fighting. And then you still have the Detroits and Bostons who have been good. So you're going to have a playoff fight there. If Detroit and Boston aren't there, or Boston's not there, 6 of the 8 teams are going to be fighting to get into the playoffs down the stretch. Toronto, Detroit, Tampa Bay, Montreal, Florida, Ottawa. So, and then you have all these teams, Philadelphia, New Jersey. I mean, in the Metro, you take a look at the top 3. I'm wondering, are the Islanders going to make the fucking playoffs? Are they going to stop?
Are they going to stop, right? But they are a team that does get in versus the misses. So when they're on that bubble, they have got in the past. They get the break speed off of them from the Hurricanes, but they get in, right?
But you take a look, it's the Hurricanes, Islanders, Capitals, Flyers, and then you got the Devils and the Rangers on the outside looking in. Those are another 5 or 6 teams there that are going to be pushing or going to not be an easy out unless Islanders completely fall off. But you have about, 10 to 12 teams fighting for, 8 spots? And of those 8 spots, 3 of them are at the top of the division, and they could easily go to one team as they could go to the other. There are a lot of garbage teams.
Can't look at it just because of our injuries or different things. It has been kind of a mid-race this year. You just have to into it.
I think there's a lot of uncertainty. I don't know what to expect.
Maybe it's, and again, I don't want to make excuses because look what Colorado's doing, Dallas is doing, the teams out west are doing.
Minnesota,
the accumulation of games and the condensed schedule, the Olympic year, a lot of this has affected these Eastern Conference teams from top to bottom. You're just not. But give credit to the ones like Detroit and the ones that have been up there. Give credit.
I don't think I could forecast it because with the injuries and the parity in this year is unlike any other. Usually there'd be a pulse on it by now, and I would lean yes. By the way,
this guy, word gets thrown around a lot. I'm going to say wait and see, but he's definitely trending that way.
I think you're telling me this guy can't become better than Quinn Hughes.
Now Aaron Ekblad also had a pretty good rookie season. I'm not saying it's as good as Schaefer's, but Ekblad had a pretty darn good rookie season.
He looked really good too.
I was like, generation.
He took us from number 1 overall to fighting for a playoff spot.
Like Brian Campbell was like, okay, young guy, okay, you show me the way. And Brian Campbell was a good hockey player.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a little early.
Now, don't know, but I think
we've seen a bit more.
I think he could become better than Quinn Hughes. I think he has the talent and the potential to be.
Okay. I'm not putting him at the Makar level.
No, I don't think anybody will touch Makar. But I think Heiskanen, Hughes, what Fox and McAvoy were, I don't know. You don't think he can go in that? He's got the talent.
No.
There's no question. The skating ability on that dude is just incredible. It's fucking unreal.
Well, that's what I was having out with our guy Vincent Scheip last year when he was talking Hagens and stuff. If you watch Schaefer skate, it's been even more dynamic than even I thought.
But he's completely changed the franchise. You think they're better.
But that's what you have within you. It's one of those, it's where scouting comes into. It's your drafting and development. But it's like when you go into those scouting meetings, which guys have that it factor? You got to be on the money with when you're making those decisions. If you got Jonathan Drouin in the room and Matthew Schaefer, Nick, you know who I'm picking. Come on, you know this from the start.
Yes, obviously, right? Jonathan.
Don't show me charts. Don't show me all the numbers in the league. Get that bullshit out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. You're picking Jonathan Drouin. I know you are. But
you were at 10 years old or 12 years old.
First of all, I didn't know shit back then. All right, I wasn't listening.
You probably thought you knew shit back then.
I thought I knew shit. I was not able to be a Cats and Rats host at that age. What I will say is,
we would have had you in the chat, maybe
particularly when it comes to the standings. We cannot. Usually there'd be a pulse on the league at this point on teams. I don't have any. This is the most. We appreciate it. This is the most uncertain.
But you'll be my favorite if you spell it the Canadian way. But
blow it out your ass, Kirby. I mean,
Just joking.
Would you agree that the uncertainty surrounding so many teams in the league right now, particularly in the Eastern Conference this far into the year, makes it very hard to look ahead and really kind of evaluate? I mean, I don't know what I'm going to get on a nightly basis.
That's what I was telling you last week. Don't look ahead. Like this division, this conference, it's not like what it was, Nick, a couple years ago.
Kirby,
when you need
teams like Detroit, Philadelphia, the Islanders, they usually fall off by now. And they haven't. So that's where I'm really getting stuck. Like, are these teams just good now? I mean,
but there's a 3-game losing streak right around the bend for teams that haven't had them yet. And the Islanders, Detroit, I don't know how many games they've lost consecutively. I don't think they've lost 3 or 4. But again, you have one of those slumps, right? We've felt it this year, you know.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
but we'll talk about that more too on After Dark, like how this conference is shaping up division. I know when Caesar comes on here, big shout out to our boy Big C's. Make sure to follow him. He was at the Everblades game there over the weekend. Make sure to give him a follow. He always likes to bring up the standings and ask us those questions. You've got to let it play out.
And remember, the West, it's the same thing every year. There's a damn good team or two that are eliminated out in round 1. There are teams. I remember 2 years ago how stacked it was. You had Winnipeg and Colorado and Dallas and Vegas.
But now this year you have the next wave of San Jose, Anaheim pushing up, even Chicago a bit.
Yeah, I think kind of coming out.
And Edmonton is just like, we'll do whatever. Like
I think coming out of the fold are obviously Minnesota's going to be there. Minnesota's kind of taking a step up, but like the LAs of the world and kind of those mid-tier teams, right? Like Minnesota being in a wild card, they've kind of stepped up.
But it's scarier now because you got Anaheim and San Jose. These young teams, they can knock someone off if they get in.
Yeah, I mean,
or take them to 7 games.
I mean,
it's a different feel.
They got to get some. I mean, they got to get some help for Dostal and for Anaheim.
You're Anaheim, don't you? If you're at the deadline and you're like supplanted into a playoff spot, like Verbeek, go get some players. You've got a veteran coach in Joe Quenneville. Get some players, right?
I'm not counting out Edmonton. I would count.
No, I'm not. They do this every.
I mean, I don't look at it. I think Chicago is going to fall out now with the Bedard injury. He's on injured reserve, and but there were teams, Kirby, in there last year and expected to be in there this year. Like I'll name a few: Winnipeg, St. Louis, Edmonton. As of right now, those are 3 teams right there, particularly Winnipeg and Edmonton, that have just completely.
Cat, I said this in the summer, and even some of my co-hosts and speakers, they looked at me weird. I'm like,
Antonio, I'm sorry. I like Chicago a lot, but I don't believe
you were one of the ones that doubted Anaheim. You were one of the ones.
I doubted Anaheim, so don't take that.
I don't know how you did that. I don't know.
Bedard. It's the Bedard injury, Antonio. It really is. I mean,
I believe it's Chicago to a degree, Antonio, but to the level of Anaheim, no. To San Jose's point, not quite, but
you take a look at it. Could a team like LA fall out and then Edmonton gets in there in the top 3, but then you have for the 2 wildcard spots, could
Chicago pass in LA, or you wouldn't go that far?
I don't know if I go that. If Chicago can survive the this time without
Vancouver, St. Louis, Calgary, they all might be done.
Vancouver, Calgary, St. Louis, Nashville, done.
Nashville, yeah.
I wouldn't count Seattle out. Yeah, I would not count Seattle out.
Yeah, like Seattle, Chicago, same tier.
I would say around that, and then a level above that is probably San Jose, and you could put Utah in there, right?
Okay. I might in the middle of that.
I'd put probably San Jose above Utah at this point.
I'm putting Utah above.
No, Cooley's out for 2 months. Remember that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, the one thing here is could you have a San Jose and Seattle with Edmonton getting in, LA falling out, and then Utah's also in the mix, but Winnipeg and St. Louis are out.
Oh, Winnipeg could be the surprise out.
That's the big thing because it's Winnipeg's usually in there.
Yeah.
Minnesota jumps up. Now you have the Edmonton kind of on the outside looking in.
I got Edmonton ahead of Winnipeg.
Yes, I do too. You have Edmonton on the outside looking in. Anaheim taking a step up. And then a team
yes,
like San Jose and
yes, for sure. Yeah. It's
yeah,
necessary.
we rebuilt for a really long fucking time.
Look at all the teams that have won the Stanley Cup: Colorado, Florida, Tampa. Like, look at where these picks come from.
McKenna's the number one pick. Don't complicate it. Do not complicate it. If you're any team, I wouldn't just.
Veeroff's getting a lot of hype, Alberta boy, but I'm going McKenna. Like, I don't. Yeah, just don't overcomplicate it. Now, like, you can go for positional need, but you go for best player available. If some people think Veeroff is, then fine. There's another guy in the mix as well, but I don't know. I just think it's
interesting point on Vancouver. I think there is a way out of this because the package they got was really good. If they can get Gavin McKenna and Elias Pettersson can, start playing like the player he actually was paid to be, this could be a pretty quick turnaround if they want to keep on. If they want to hold on to Demko, Besser, and Pettersson and bring in Bouillon and Rossi and McKenna, and you have another first-round pick that they've already have, and they have this guy Braden Coots, I believe.
If they get a top 3 pick, are you talking this year?
Yeah. Who's the prospect? Braden Coots? Is that his name?
I think so. There might be another guy there too.
So,
I think it's a third.
You take a look at this collection of players they could potentially have. Pettersson, Besser, Bouillon, who I like. I like Hronek. I like Demko. If you can get a McKenna, that's really big. You have Marco Rossi. You have another first round.
Now, Sherwood is a UFA, and then the Demko thing is looming.
If they want to move off Pettersson, there is still a path here in 3-4 years. If you get the McKennas and the Rossis and the Bouillons going, yes, and Coots. But even if you don't, if you can get those veterans playing well, you could still get those young players and turn this around pretty quickly. There's no reason why in 2, maybe 3 years, maybe even 2, that Vancouver couldn't be back in the playoffs. But if they do it right and if certain things fall their way, they need to suck this year, which I don't think they're going to have a problem doing that.
Vancouver has never won the lottery before. The closest they got was Dale Talon in 1970. Calgary has never won the lottery either. So sometimes it's just those balls, lottery luck,
But Matt, I would say the formula for that is if you want to trade Pettersson and Demko and Besser, fine. Get hauls for them. You're going to get a lot for that. So you could kind of play your cards right there, or you could keep those players, bet on them playing better, bring in, have the Bouillon, have the Rossi, have the McKenna or Verhoff, whatever you want to do.
But you don't want it to end up like Buffalo. That's what.
But you don't want to end it up like Buffalo.
Nick, you're making it sound easy. If everyone could do that, then they would.
But there's talent in Vancouver.
There is, but there was talent there beforehand, and they're moving it out, and you got to decide if they're going to move another guy or two.
Well, if you're asking what I would do, I would trade Elias Pettersson. I would probably move on from Demko. I think you'd want to hold on to Besser, but I don't know if he'd want to stay. He's been pretty loyal.
And you move Pettersson to like Carolina. You go get that defenseman Nichushkin, and then you get picks and maybe a forward prospect or a forward player.
And then you just load up on young talent. You have all the money to go sign free agents. If you get Gavin McKenna, that changes everything, and then you just build around him.
They're going to wait. The smart thing too is to wait. Some of these teams we're talking about, Vancouver, wait for the lottery results and then go from there. Because if you're not in the top 2 or 3, that changes the landscape exponentially. Like if you're in that there, then you could say,
well, if you get Gavin McKenna, changes everything. You get him. You build around him the prospects you got for Quinn Hughes, and build around the picks and prospects that you'll trade with Demko and Pettersson and the money you get from free agency. That's a 3-4 year plan
and free agents now want to come there with that player as well.
Correct.
That number 2 pick. Look at what the Islanders, who is going to go play on the island now, could be different.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, especially if you want to see
some veteran blue liner might be like, I want to come in.
I don't think Vancouver's in a terrible spot. I think they're in a position to get a really damn good franchise-changing player in the draft. And I like what they got for Quinn Hughes. I mean, you lost Quinn Hughes, whatever. But I like Z Bouillon
I don't think
a lot.
you say whatever. My family in Vancouver is not saying.
So you can't change it, is what I mean. You can't change it.
Okay, that's different.
Z Bouillon's a damn good player. I don't want people to forget.
Yeah, but I'm not letting people get ahead here because he's got off to a good start here.
I said that before he played his first game. I think he could be a number 1 defenseman in the NHL. Top 10 pick.
that. I said number 2 to you guys, and then Cody said it's more of a number 3 if he's an offensively.
Nah, he's a top 10 pick, Kirby.
Number 1. There's not too many number 1s, Nick, in the league. I think there's 20 maybe at tops.
Gustav Forsling, one of them?
I don't think we have a number 1.
There you go.
So, yeah. But anyway, we'll get into that maybe more on Saturday. Anything in closing, Nick?
No, I really appreciated this conversation with everybody tonight. We've had some damn good streams here this past week. I really do appreciate everybody. Shout out to Les Dunbar for the Matthew Tkachuk autograph frame contest. Shout out to all of our new members.
For donating.
Shout out to Jack Powell.
Like everyone's like, we're talking all NHL in here. Well, Jack gifted all these memberships. We have people coming in here that are not only here for the Panthers, but here for NHL talk. Make sure to join us every Saturday, Cats and Rats, NHL After Dark. It's a bit of Panthers talk, but there's a lot of NHL talk. So you got to sample a little bit here tonight, because I think a lot of the Panther fans probably went to bed, but the ones that did stay with us, I appreciate you guys staying up with us.
As always. Kirby, Diehard wants to know if we're back on Twitter X post-game show soon.
Yeah, I try to make the schedule week by week, Diehard, so just make sure to DM me and I will let you know there. Tonight was a big rivalry game, so I wanted to come over here on the YouTube channel side. We'll get some good clicks there. But, yeah, we do want to get back on the X Spaces side for a couple games, and especially during the holidays, it's hard to get everyone together here on YouTube and get everything organized here. So, yeah, we should be back over there. I'll try my best with my schedule. I've got commitments as well, so we'll do our best.
Hey, Meeksy, blow it out your ass, all right, pal? Or, you know what I meant. Okay. Top 10, top 12, same shit.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. But, yeah, anything else, Nick? You can close us.
No, we really do appreciate everybody for all your support. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Cats and Rats YouTube channel. Make sure to check out our guy Big C's over on YouTube as well. Follow me and Kirby. You can take a look at the rolling thing on the bottom of the screen.
Yes, and off it for a second. Make sure to subscribe. We still have like 30 to 40% of people that are listening to us that are not subscribed. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's free.
Make sure to check out our Instagram channel, our YouTube channel, all of our individual Twitter accounts. We really do appreciate you for all the support. And make sure to leave a like and a comment on what you think. And we hope to see you guys again soon. Shout out to Matt Bloom for coming in. We really do appreciate everybody. And as we always say here, the Cats and Rats, let's go Cats.
What's up, Cats and Rats fans? If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button before you head out. If you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. And just like always, let's go Cats.